My favorite story from Monday Night Football was Seattle's quarterback, Geno Smith. They beat Denver. They spoiled Russell Wilson's revenge game, all that stuff. Sure. But also, their new starting quarterback, Geno Smith, played really, really well. And it fired me up. I loved it because the story is outstanding. He was 23 for 28 passing, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, no turnovers, no picks, no fumbles. Look, he didn't blow my mind. He wasn't Patrick Mahomes throwing 5 touchdowns and 500 yards. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Geno Smith played very well, especially his early touchdown on 3rd and 2 to Will Dissly, where he slid up in the pocket, found him open. It was awesome, man. The first drive for Seattle was great. And here's why Geno Smith is such a cool story. He was a 2nd-round pick in 2019 and went to the New York Jets. He was supposed to be the franchise quarterback in New York. And it didn't work. In fact, it went badly. And he was basically forgotten about and thrown into the garbage, and just people moved on and didn't view him like a franchise quarterback ever again after that. He got one shot, and that was it. He ended up backing up, Phillip Rivers in San Diego. He backed up Eli Manning in New York. He backed up Russ for 2 years, I guess. This is his 3rd year in Seattle. He backed up Russell Wilson for 2 years in Seattle. He spent a lot of time around really, really good. In fact, I would say 3 future Hall of Fame or very close with Phillip Rivers Hall of Fame level quarterbacks. And he says he learned a lot from all of them. I believe it. He's 31 years old. He'll be 32 in October. And it's been 8 years since his first Week 1 opening day start in the NFL. And he played so well on Monday night. He was accurate. He took care of the football. No turnovers, only 5 incompletions. That dog will hunt. That's good. That's good quarterback play. And Geno Smith looked like a guy who was preparing for years, preparing so that if he ever did get an opportunity again to be a starting quarterback, he would be ready. He was ready for that moment. And I don't know what's going to happen to Geno Smith. This could be a topic that is wasted because maybe 2 weeks from now he's horrible, he gets benched, who knows. But right now, I'm hopeful and I'm fired up because I would love to see Geno Smith have a great year. I was so happy for the guy on Monday night. I was happy for Geno Smith. I was happy for Pete Carroll, too, beating his former quarterback. A lot of drama this offseason in Seattle. A lot of people doubting him. I doubted him. I was like, Pete, what are you doing? Pete Carroll, Drew Lock, Geno Smith? You can't win games like that. And look, Mr. Pete Carroll was right. He proved me wrong. He proved everybody wrong. And we'll see how the year goes. They could have a terrible year still. But 1 week in, it looks like Pete Carroll found a really good starting quarterback and one that actually probably works better for him. A guy who's going to take care of the ball, doesn't have an ego, isn't expensive. I was just so happy for Geno Smith, man. And I'm really curious if he can keep it going as the year goes on. But what if he does play that way all year? Very few turnovers, good decision-making. It's kind of an interesting and exciting thought. If Geno plays at that level on Monday night, doesn't need to be incredible, doesn't need to play like an MVP, but he plays like a franchise quarterback. He is never the problem. He's doing very well, making a couple big plays here and there. I really don't know what to do there. Do you draft a Bryce Young? Will you be able to? Because they might win too many games to even be possible to draft a guy like Bryce Young in next year's NFL draft. I very much did not expect Geno Smith to look that good, and it was a very encouraging thing to watch. I loved it. This year for Geno Smith is a really cool opportunity where he's a guy that was once expected to become a franchise quarterback. That was 8 years ago. It's rare to get a second chance 8 years after you miss your window to become a franchise quarterback in the NFL. And I don't know that window is even necessarily opened, but it's a lot closer to opening than it was going into week 1. And it's an opportunity this year for Geno Smith to show the world, hey, I missed my shot, but I can still play football, and I'm ready to prove myself. I hope he does. I don't know that he will. But it's so rare to get a second chance. Jameis Winston got one after he got replaced by Tom Brady in Tampa. He's now the Saints starting quarterback. We're seeing how that's going to go. Marcus Mariota got benched. He lost his job to Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee. He had to spend 2 years as the backup quarterback in Vegas behind Derek Carr before he finally got a shot in Atlanta. So far, Geno Smith is doing very, very well with his second chance. Who knows how it's going to go? But it's a cool story. The next 3 games for Geno Smith, you're playing the 49ers, Atlanta, then Detroit. That's a good opportunity for him. And Seattle does have 2 rookie tackles. They've got first-round pick left tackle Charles Cross out of, I believe, Mississippi State, and then a rookie third-round pick right tackle Abe Lucas out of Washington State. Both of their rookie offensive tackles played very well against Denver. Is that going to continue? I'm not sure. Time will tell. That could be a very limiting factor for this offense in Seattle. But man, Geno Smith, I watched him in the preseason. He gained my respect. He took care of the ball, did some good stuff. This was big boy football, Monday Night Football, on prime time, in a regular season game, and Geno Smith played very, very well. Gained my respect and gained my attention. We've seen people have a great couple performances here and there. Gardner Minshew was a flash in the pan. Ryan Fitzmagic had a brief flash in the pan moment with Tampa. I don't know if Geno Smith can keep it going, but I am rooting for that. I really want to see that. I love watching quarterbacks succeed, and I love watching guys who've been overlooked surprise people. Geno Smith surprised me on Monday Night Football, and if he does well enough, here's what's really interesting. Geno Smith is a cheap option at quarterback, and if he does well enough that they keep him next year, they're going to have to pay him a new contract, but he's making like $1.5 million right now this year, and he's still going to be way cheaper than most quarterbacks, even with a new contract, which I would imagine is going to be something much more substantial than what he's making now. And if you have a cheap quarterback on your roster, you can build a great team around said quarterback. That's why people often go for a rookie quarterback on a low rookie contract, because you can build a great team around a quarterback on a cheaper rookie contract. I think Seattle, if Geno Smith keeps playing well, there's potential they could have a cheaper option at quarterback next year and build a great team and draft well around that guy. And I think that's a fun potential future for Seattle. I really like that. And I find myself very, very much rooting for Geno Smith this fall.